there, I'm Holly McDonald with the Costa Mesa Pod, where we discuss all things concerning the lifestyle, businesses, and activities that make Costa Mesa such a great place to live. Today I have David Woolbert with me. David, he is an amazing photographer, and I'm so excited to have him here so he can share a little bit more about what he does and, what are his skills. So David, hi.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So tell everybody a little bit about your business, what it's called, what you do, what you specialize in, all the things.
My name is David Woolbert. I'm a professional photographer with David Woolbert Photography. I specialize in portraits, events, real estate, and sports photography. So a little bit of everything. And I love what I do.
Awesome. How long have you been doing photography?
I have been doing it professionally for 11 years. I got into it in college. My professor was a marine biologist, and her husband was a professional nature photographer. And he let me use his camera one day, and I was hooked. That was it.
Awesome. Well, and I know, I guess the first way I even found out that you are a photographer was that my friend Alicia, who happens to be your wife, your partner, had told me that you were doing photography for Newport Harbor High School. So I know you mentioned sports. Talk a little bit about that.
So I've worked with a lot of high schools in Orange County. I do a lot of their sports team portraits, picture day. And I also do action photography for various schools. I've worked with Modern Day, like Newport Harbor High School, Santa Margarita, Corona Del Mar. I've been all over. I know all the high schools. And I've shot soccer, football, girls, boys, lacrosse. You name it, I've shot in terms of sports. And I love sports. I was actually a college athlete myself. I played football, so it's always fun to be around sports and the athletic lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of fun energy, and just to capture that for people too, like to have those memories, or I'm not sure, maybe some of it goes out to the press or to the websites or all of that. So, and then you also mentioned some of the other areas that you focus in. So talk a little bit about some of those areas, what sets you apart in terms of your photography or how you work with people.
Yeah, so in terms of portraits, I mentioned portraits. I do a lot of corporate headshots, family portrait engagement, photos. Yeah, that one's pretty straightforward. It's always fun working with individuals and businesses. You never know what you're going to get in a day. And I really pride myself on being a people person. And it's not just photography; it's also customer service. I love meeting new people and networking, and it's really helped me grow my business. And in terms of events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate events, charity events, fundraisers, parties, and that's always fun. It's taken me to some really cool places, and I've worked with a lot of big brands and big companies. And then real estate, as you know, I've done a little bit with you.
Yeah.
Residential, commercial, and 360 virtual tours is out of my jam. And then, as you mentioned, sports. So
yeah. Well, and I guess the big differentiator with real estate is that typically you're just photographing the house, not a person, but regardless, you still have to have customer service skills and show up on time, and obviously photograph the place as well, which are all things that you do beautifully. Thank you. And so have you always lived in this area?
No, actually, I was born and spent my early teenage years in Littleton, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver. We moved to Orange County when I was about 14 years old, so just going into high school. And I was in Irvine, and now I live on the border of Costa Mesa and Newport Beach. And if I can stay here, I will. I love it here. Yeah,
it's a pretty nice place to be.
It is.
Do you feel like there's a lot of connection with the community and the photography that you bring to the area?
Absolutely. One of the things about working in so many different genres of photography is like I said, you meet a lot of people, and it actually is amazing how much crossover there is. And for example, with the high school sports, a lot of parents, as you mentioned, I wish I had photos like I provide for these kids when I was playing.
Yeah.
A lot of parents will approach me and say, hey, I need a corporate headshot, or I have a birthday party coming up. So there's great networking, and there's a lot of crossover. And one of the things that I do love about, Costa Mesa and Newport is there's a lot of diversity in terms of the socioeconomic and cultural aspects. So it's great. There's sky's the limit.
Yes, you can be photographing a lot of different types of events and whatnot. And I think one thing that a lot of people might not even take into consideration fashion, but we're seeing more and more of it. Like, just like you said before, like the engagement shots or like probably proposals and that type of thing where like there's a photographer lurking in the background. Obviously that wasn't really a thing so many years ago. Like people got engaged and you just heard about it. Now it's like this whole to-do. But there's so many things that you wish you had a photographer for that people don't, or like they think that they're going to be able to like post the birthday party and take photos at the same time and don't realize that, you know, practically that probably isn't going to happen. You're probably going to be busy breaking up fights or getting the cake or whatever. So to have somebody whose sole focus is literally to keep the party in focus is so important. And it does give people those like behind the scenes moments and memories from like a fly on the wall perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the way I word it is, you know, for any event, no matter what it is, you're going to remember the big ticket items. You're going to remember the birthday cake. You're going to remember, you know, opening the presents. But as time fades, all the little details in between kind of fade from your memory. And if you have a photographer there, you'll have those memories forever. You know, you'll encapsulate that moment, that birthday, that engagement, whatever it is, in time forever.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. And so actually, I'm just curious, this is a random question, but do you primarily photograph like digitally or do you play around with any other types of photography?
You know, it's mostly digital now. I do have a film camera. It's expensive and you don't know what you get till you develop it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the technology is it's really crazy how fast it's advancing.
Yeah.
You know, so it used to be DSLR, which is, you know, a digital camera, and now they have mirrorless, which has no moving parts. I chose an insanely expensive career path, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then you spend a lot of time, do you edit them yourself, all of the photos?
Yes, and that's another thing people don't think about. You know, they say, well, I'll just take pictures on my phone. And my job is, you know, I don't show up and just push a button. One, you have to know how to use your tool. And then two, you know, you put a lot of work and time into those photos in post-production. So there is a little bit more to it than just showing up and shooting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I know, like, from a lot of the photo shoots that I've ever had to do in the like let's talk like a wedding, right? You probably take like 800 to 1,000 photos, maybe
more than that. Why not? I shot a wedding last Friday. I took about 3,000.
Oh, okay, so thousands of photos, and like obviously you're not going to go through and edit all of them, but you have to edit a lot. So
yeah, you know, I think I delivered about 500 of those 3,000. So.
Yeah.
So it takes time. It's consuming, but it brings so much joy. You know, when you deliver these photos and people look through them and you know they're so thankful and so appreciative. So that's one of the most rewarding parts. Is you know, shooting is fun. You never know what you're going to get today. It takes you to all sorts of cool places. But the real reward is when you deliver your imagery to the client and see the joy on their face, or you know, get a text saying, "These are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we hired you."
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah, that's so nice. And I mean, I know like obviously you have a little girl, and so it must be really nice too for, you know, families to get those different times of the year, or just like capturing the memories of their children growing up, because like even your daughter, I can't believe how like big she's getting, like, and they just change so fast. So just having the nice photos is a great way to kind of keep that memory, like you said, kind of encapsulate it.
Yeah, she turns 3 next month, and one of the benefits of my job is that I have her entire growth, professional photos of her entire, you know, and I'll continue. So it'll be fun for her to look back on those when she's older. And then yeah, you know, I do have families that they do their fall family portraits with me every year. And you know, one of my clients, I started when her girls were 1 and 3, and now they're like 8 and 10, and you know, and it's crazy. So it's cool. You know, I'm kind of a part of the family. I bring them little stuffed animals, or you know, I'll text their mom and say, hey, what are they into now? And I make it an experience. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so I didn't know you were from Colorado, or if I did, I forgot. So that's really interesting, and I obviously know that you love where you live. I'm just curious. I'm not from here. I say that all the time. I'm not from here, but I've been here like 20 years, so it feels like I am. What about this area? Like, what is something that you think people might not know about it that surprised you? or what's something that like you want to highlight about the area that is special to you?
Yeah, one thing that doesn't get mentioned about Costa Mesa enough is the restaurant culture. You could go to a new restaurant every day, 365 days a year, and still not try all the great food that's in Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
And, some of the stuff that people do know, it's close to the beach. We live a mile from the beach, which I love. We take full advantage of that. You can't beat the weather. It's sunny 360 days of the year and beautiful. There's a lot of parks and nature and things to do. The AC fairs out here. So there's no shortage of activities and places to go and things to do and see.
Yeah. Why did your family move here?
We moved here just because most of our family was already out here. My grandparents live out here. They still do. They're in Newport. My aunt lives in Hawaii. So just to be closer to family.
Right. Yeah. Not a bad place to go.
I have no complaints.
Yeah. And I would think too, just for even like photo scenery, you have so many great places to go and you don't have to worry about the weather so often and things that like might not be as easy for photographers in other areas.
Oh yeah, I have in my notes app, I have a list of all my photo spots, and there's like 100 of them.
Yeah.
And there's no shortage of beautiful places to shoot here. And I love it.
Yeah, that's so great. And so are you pretty much like a one-man shop?
Yeah, for the most part, sometimes I'll bring on an assistant if there's a shoot that has a lot of equipment or depending on the shoot. I've been part of photo teams too, where I'm like the lead. I work with other photographers. For example, I was on the team that did the 2024 Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders swimsuit calendar, and my job on that shoot was lighting.
Uh-huh.
And then there was another. It was great. Cool. It's taken me some cool places. That was 10 days in Puerto Vallarta. So sometimes I'll collaborate and work with other photographers. And the smaller shoots like real estate, weddings, portraits, I'll do that solo. But it is a very individual career. But for example, if somebody says we need video too, I've got two guys I know that do video, and I'll partner with them. So
yeah,
it depends on the scenario.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really cool. I mean, I know that it's being a photographer or anybody in that type of space, you really are running your own business and working at your own craft. So it's a lot of work. You wear a lot of hats.
A lot of hats.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Is there anything that you want to share that is coming up? Like, I don't know if you're doing any events or if you have any specials coming up that you want to share.
I do have one special. High school and college graduations are coming up.
Mm.
So, I'm doing senior grad photo package for the class of 2025. 1 hour, 2 outfit changes, 20 digital images for $250, and more photos and prints and photo books and cards can be purchased for extra.
Oh, cool. I didn't know you did that too. Okay, awesome. You can post it out. Yeah.
And if anybody is, anybody listening has a kiddo about to graduate from high school or college, you can give me a call. I'm sure I'll be giving you my information here soon.
Yeah, no, you just segued perfectly. How can people find you? Where can they reach you? All of those things.
Yeah, you got it. So my website is just my name. It's www.davidwoolbert.com. And then on social, all the socials, my @ is dwoolbsphoto. I'll spell it for you. DWOOLBZ. Photo, PHOTO. I'm on all the socials, and I might as well throw my phone number in there too now. If you want to reach me, you can text or call, and we can get you booked and scheduled. 720-219-3898. And if you're looking for a portfolio, that can be found on the website, which again is davidwoolbert.com.
Still got that Denver area code, huh?
Never changing.
That's funny. I remember when I finally changed my area code, it felt like I was giving up a piece of like the history. So good for you for keeping it. But
thank you.
You're here. So, well, that's so amazing. Your business is booming. I know you're busy, but you're always making room for new clients and making memories for so many people. That's so exciting.
I love what I do. And yes, I'm busy, but I always make time for new clients. We'll make it work.
Yeah, no, I know you do love what you do, which is one of the great things. I mean, as a photographer, you're trying to bring out like the best in people a lot of the times and like get their authentic sides. And if you're not bringing the right attitude, I don't know how those photos are going to turn out.
Absolutely. And that's I'm a people person. And they say if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
I love that quote. That's great. Well, David, thanks so much for being on the podcast. And I'll make sure that people reach out to you, get those graduation photos booked and all of the other things, because like the holidays are even right around the corner. You might as well get those photos booked too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Holly. I really appreciate it.
Right.
All right.